When I saw these go up, I don't know, Adam, if I was the first to buy them, but I must have been one of the first. Because as soon as I woke up in the middle of the night and I was checking my Instagram, I saw that there was some activity and these things were available, and I immediately jumped on them. Listen, you got a lot of fans out there that love these caps, so I want to turn it over to you to kind of talk through these.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me on. I gotta say, first off, so I racked my brain over what hat I'm gonna wear, and then Pierre, you're saying you don't like denim hats. This is like the Canadian tuxedo, denim on denim, and then if you can throw a hat on them, it's denim on denim on denim. But
No, I didn't say I don't like that denim hat. I said I don't like that blue one.
out of respect for the hosts and in deference to views from the vault, I'm gonna switch it up from the denim to maybe something a little more use from the vault appropriate. We'll go with the little vulture.
All right, that sounds good, man.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So Pierre, what you probably heard was prop wash from a plane flying over your house in the middle of the night that woke you up. And you realized that you need to go online and grab these from over your head. But
pick these things up.
Exactly. It was a sign from the heavens. So I did a re-release, a restock of 3 designs. I did a poll on Instagram, on the website, and on FHS on Facebook to see which had the most demand. There was a ton of demand for everything. I'm kind of thinking everything's going to get dropped at some point, but these 3 are the most cohesive. They all have kind of the same elements, the same themes. So I wanted to give people a chance to grab these again. They also kind of mark the beginning of Over Your Head, the middle, and a more recent release. So they all kind of tie together with the trifecta. But yeah, I'd love to give people maybe a little bit more insight into why I released them and the ideas behind them and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I got a chance to hear you kind of talk through this, and I thought it was super interesting. So I think a lot of folks out there would love to hear this.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the Trinity Bell. I designed this in 2016. So Over Your Head's been around officially since 2017. I did this design as kind of a one-off to dip my toes into the whole fitted design, custom fitted scene. I lived in Toronto growing up. I recently moved to a suburb just outside of Toronto. It's called Ajax. And I'm a guy who, if I wear something or I live somewhere or I do something, it's not enough to just kind of do it on like a surface level. I kind of want to know what's going on underneath the surface. So Ajax was created as a town in I think the 30s. There was a munitions factory here. So they built a munitions factory. All the workers from the factory came and moved into like row houses in the area, and they incorporated into a town. So there's like a World War II kind of vibe is the origin story to this city. So I wanted to kind of run with that. I've always loved bomber nose art. So like the stuff you can see in the bottom corner there, the stuff that they paint on the front of the bombers, a lot of times it would be airmen from whatever squadron, like amateur painters and stuff that would do that artwork. So I wanted to kind of play on that and do something Canadian. So just kind of tie everything together. So I decided to go with a pinup girl, Mountie. The inspiration for the Mountie woman is she's an actress called Ingrid Bergman. She was in Casablanca, which is like an iconic World War II movie. So I just kind of mixed all those in a pot, and out came the Trinity Bell. The original version, that's what it looks like here. So I did this before I knew kind of the ins and outs of how to submit artwork and what would look good and what would translate onto a hat. So the thing that always irked me about this first release was the lack of an outline and lack of definition between the legs and the black elements of the embroidery and the hat. So I did a re-release. It was supposed to coincide with the Canada 150 with some of that imagery, but Ottawa kind of kept that under lock and key. So we had to tweak that. But a couple years ago, I released the follow-up, the 2.0. So when I did this design, I made sure that when it was submitted, it was done in a way so that if I wanted to switch up the colorway down the road, I would have that contrast with the white. And I don't know if you guys saw, I don't know how many Trinity Bell 2.0 owners are out there that picked up on the Easter egg. So I submitted all the colors for the threads, and I thought I put in like a white color, just straight up white thread. I did not. I went to San Diego on a trip, came in from being outside, took my hat and put it in the closet of the hotel room.
Ooh, glow in
And
the dark.
the outline of the pinup girl is glowing at me, and I'm like, oh, that worked out. That worked out nicely. So that was an Easter egg that's been hidden. A lot of people don't know about for a couple years. So if you have one of the 2.0s, stick it in your closet, see what happens.
Nice.
But that would I racked my brain over whether to do the white front. I know a lot of people are not huge fans of the white fronts because they get dirty. I do like Pierre, who has the vault behind him. He can rock a white front and then stick it back in the vault for safekeeping. It's not going to take a lot of wear and tear, but to those of us who put our hats through the ringers, it could be a turnoff for some people. One of the other, whenever I'm looking for colorways for hats, I'll usually go to my collection and see what I like, what works, what kind of like mocks up. So this was another one that I was thinking of, the red with the white, maybe down the road, who knows, the 4.0. And then this was another one too, the this Erie Seawolves
Nice.
black with the red brim. So so who knows? We still got some colorways to play with.
I think people were pretty excited you picked the black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For that first kind of big re-release, I had to go with something back to the roots. So that's the first pre over your head design. So you have a chance to grab it with a couple slight revisions.
So Adam, you have a question here from one of the viewers, Christoph. When will the pre-order run on these ones?
It's going to run till Monday, June the 8th is when the pre-order for these ones is going to close. So I'll make sure to post updates and stuff on Instagram and FHS and on the website so that people know that their time to grab one is coming to a close.
Perfect.
The one more side note to that. Sorry. So the Trinity Bell, there's like Memphis Bell, Liberty Bell, the whatever Belle was kind of a go-to like bomber name. So I played off of, there's a park in Toronto called Trinity Bellwoods. It's like, it hit the news a couple of weeks ago because a lot of people, as soon as it got warm, went down and went buck wild because they were finally able to get out of their house for the first time in like 90 days. So the now infamous Trinity Bellwoods Park is immortalized in hat form.
They have social distancing circles now.
Circles now, yeah.
Yeah, they sprayed the circles
Looks like
onto the grass to let everyone know how far or close they can get. So shout out to Toronto.
Yeah. The second one, so this one did the Trinity Bell. I wanted to stay with the aviation theme. The first few hats that I released had kind of one of two themes. They were either aviation type stuff. I work at Pearson Airport. It's it's the biggest airport in Canada and one of the biggest in North America. So I like to tie in those like aviation elements. I've always been interested in graffiti. When I was younger, I used to kind of play around and make a mess, much to the chagrin of city painters and whatnot. But statute of limitations, so I can talk about it a little bit. One of my favorite documentaries is Style Wars. It takes place in New York in like the 70s and 80s and just really goes into depth about the graffiti scene. But because I was never that good of a graffiti artist, the height of my graffiti like stardom and activities was the Throw Up, which I think is like one of the unsung heroes of graffiti culture. I think that a stylized, well-executed Throw Up is a complete thing of beauty. When I was a kid, I used to ride the train into the city. The easiest way to get there was like this thing called a GO train. It's like a rail, whatever, like commuter train. But there used to be huge graffiti murals all along the GO train route. And before I really knew what was up, it was like the most mind-blowing thing. You see these like splashes of color and it's all like cryptic. You can't read it. So I've always been a fan of graffiti. So I wanted to kind of tie that in. I wanted to tie in aviation. I actually hit up Ink Park for this logo. You guys probably know Ink Park. He's done some stuff with the Clink Room. He's done some stuff with Hat Club. He's done some stuff from the Vaults. So yeah, he's very, very talented designer. So I had the concept. I wanted to do YYZ, which is the airport code for Toronto, in kind of bubble cloud type letters. And I wanted a plane to be bursting through that cloud. I gave him a couple sketches. I let him do his thing. And it's like he went into my brain, took it out of my brain, made it better, put it on paper, and sent it to me. And he did a really good job with this one. You guys, I know we mentioned the last time I was on, you might recognize that little Spitfire plane. That's become like the alternate logo for Over Your Head.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's now that makes regular appearances as the main event on Fits.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we have the YYZ. This one is one of the more recent hats that we've done. So every year in the summer, I sit down and, like a mad scientist, I go over the Major League Baseball schedule day by day, and I look for a period of days, usually 4 in a row, where my friends and I can hit the maximum number of games possible. We've now expanded it from just minor leagues to from just major leagues to minor leagues as well. But there was one year we did 9 parks in 4 days. I think that's our record. So this past year, we had the biggest turnout yet, which was 11 guys. So as soon as 11 guys committed to come, and I rented like a big kind of church van, like massive 12-seat van. As soon as they committed, I'm like, well, 11 is pretty close to the minimum for a hat order. So maybe we should do a commemorative hat. So I came up with the Pearson Barnstormers. So Pearson for the airport, link that in. Barnstorming has a few different kind of connotations. So originally, barnstormers were aviators and pilots from World War I. After the war, they had this skill. They didn't really have any way of using it. So they monetized that skill. And there was a lot of planes kind of kicking around, surplus planes. So they would take planes and they would fly from little town to little town, and they would put on almost like a one plane air show. But back then, a lot of people had never seen planes before. So it was like a big kind of, everybody would come down and it was a spectacle. And then at the end of some of these shows, they would either fly through a barn or they would crash their plane into a barn. And that's how they got the name Barnstormers. Then fast forward a few years, that name was applied to, there were teams before there were really organized baseball leagues. Major League Baseball was around, but that was pretty much the only game in town. So these teams would form and they would travel around the country challenging the local team. So they'd come into town, they'd say, get your baseball team. We got 9 guys, we're going to play. And it was kind of for bragging rights. So the guys with the long hair down in the corner there, they're called House of David. I've actually got, I got one of their hats here.
Yeah.
So they were, you know what's up here? Do you have one of these? I'm assuming.
Ebbets Field Flannels makes them now. I don't know if
Yes.
New York can still make them. I think Ebbets Field is the only company that can make them now.
So I didn't really know a lot about them. Again, when I got the hat, I wanted to kind of deep dive and see what was going on. So it was a like religious sect, and one of their beliefs was that they couldn't cut their hair. And I guess another belief was that they had to be really good at baseball. So they started touring around the country, and they actually, now don't quote me on this, but I know that there's some affiliation with the Negro Leagues. Like this hat here has a Negro League side patch. So they weren't in like affiliated Major League Baseball, but they did have affiliation and connection to the Negro Leagues. So I wanted to kind of tie in the aviation with the baseball going from town to town. And you got to go with the skull because it's badass with the gold tooth, right? Why not? So we went to the final destination on our trip last year was Fenway Park. We saw the Jays play in Fenway. And that one picture you see is a screen grab taken without the expressed consent of Major League Baseball or the commissioner of the league. The group of us, we were the token home fans that traveled a great distance to support the Jays, shown on the screen during high leverage moments. That's me and a few of my friends. I don't know if you can see, but this is probably gonna get me kicked out of Fenway Park for the rest of my life. But they have a strict no tobacco policy, and there may or may not be a wad of Redmond Silver Blend in my cheek out of view of camera. So don't tell the Red Sox. I'll be on the blacklist.
Appropriate for a barnstormer.
I'm just trying to get into character, right? If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right.
That's right.
So the Barnstormer is going to be available as well till the 8th of June.
You know what I love most about this, and I think Leon, you most likely agree with me, is the stories behind these caps too. It's not like you just threw together some logo and chucked it on there. You think a lot about what you're going to do and what you're going to create, and you know, I think that's pretty special, man. And I always love hearing your stories and how you kind of come to the place where your creation comes to fruition. So I really want to thank you, Adam, for taking us through that. Listen, I'm excited to get mine. That's for sure, and I know a lot of other people are too. So
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, it's always a pleasure coming on. And yeah, for me, I just I want to have nice hats. I want to give people nice hats, but I want to give people meaningful hats too. So that's kind of the where it begins.
yeah, they're gonna have a special place in my vault once they get here. That's
The
for
vault corner, the over your head corner.
I have my over your head section, so that's where it's gonna go.
Nice. I got kind of like the safe. This is like the Costco safe you put your valuables in compared to the vault, but
Nah,
maybe
man,
one day.
it's all good. It's all good. We all have our collections, man.
You got prime space there. You got two boxes over your head ready to go on the leftist side, so that means they're easy to access. So
It's like the safety deposit box in the vault.
like the first one to grab. So
Yeah.
Like a hotel safe, right?
yeah, always at arm's reach.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it was great having you on again, and we're gonna be spending more time with you in the future because we do have some thoughts about a segment that you're gonna be doing regularly with us. So we're not gonna share that yet, but we're excited to kind of show that to the world too. But I want to thank you, Adam, again for being on. It's always great having you on.
Absolutely, guys. I'm enjoying the shows. I'm eating them up. So thanks for bringing us the content, and keeping us entertained.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Adam. Leon, you ready to take us away?
Yeah. So make sure you guys join us on Saturday. We're going to be going under the cap. We're going to start a new kind of thing where we feature collectors. So Marin is going to be the first one we do on that side. Jason Mead is going to have his own. Do you want to talk about that now, or should we talk about that later?
Now we could talk about it. So Jason, we're going to be doing spots with Jason Mead, and we're going to be releasing them on Sundays that are going to really go through his top 10 hats, right?
Yeah, for the given week.
For that given week. And so that's going to be our closure to the week. Is what better guy than Jason Mead to take us through his top 10 hats, and the three of us will discuss them. And then that'll be dropping into the YouTube, and we'll put the links up on FHS and Team Fitted on Sundays.
Yeah. So 5950 is most wanted. We're going to count them down every week. It'll be a cool little piece of content for us to film and for you guys to watch. So other than that, catch you guys Saturday. We got a lot of stuff planned for you guys. So stay fitted, and we'll catch you guys later.